Now we are going to start post-lunch session. So I request Dr. Jadhav, please come on the dais. As a chairman of the session. এই নাম দিয়েছে এখানে इसको हटा दो इसको हटा दो इसको हटा दो okay and then Dr. Narayan Ghosh IM Kolkata as co-chair and Pankaj Kumar Sarkar as a rapporteur. I request Navonita to present a flower bouquet to the session chair, Dr. Jadhav from IIT Bombay. Photographer কোথায়? ক্যামেরা মোবাইলে নাও। এদিকে এদিকে এসো হ্যাঁ। I request Ms. Boishaki to present a flower bouquet to Dr. Narayan Ghosh from librarian from IIM Kolkata. I request Navonita to present a flower bouquet to Pankaj Sarkar. He is from Bangladesh. So I request our Professor Sudeshana Sarkar from Computer Science Department, please come on the dais. I request Navonita, to Dolon nam tomar. Dolon, please present a flower bouquet to our madam, Professor Sudeshana Sarkar. এই ইয়ে ফটো না এক মিনিট দোলন ওদিকে যাও হ্যাঁ So I hand over our session chair, Dr. Jadhav, to organize this session. There are 4 speakers. The first speaker is Madam, and there is a list. So, cordless mic, either. Hello.
Good afternoon. In this session, actually, we have a very renowned speaker invited to talk from Sudeshana Sarkar, professor from CSE IIT Kharagpur, Professor Bulu Maharana from Sambalpur University, and one online talk is there, Dr. Shakti Ahmed, a librarian from Institute of Research and Medical Consultant, Saudi Arabia. Another is actually Professor Sudeep Mishra, CSE IIT Kharagpur, and Ruwan Gamge from Sri Lanka, and Dr. Sandeep Kumar Phatak, ISER, Bhopal. So we have only 4 speakers actually, maybe, and out of 7, only 4 speakers. And I request all the speakers will maximum will give 15 minutes. So I also thanks Dr. Ghosh, is a co-chair, and Professor actually Dr. Rajesh Kumar Sarkar, librarian PhD Bangladesh, for actually helping me for this session. So I request actually Professor Sudeshana Sarkar to just start that.
Yeah, so you can sit there. So before giving lecture by our madam, I just tell few words about her because Jadavji didn't know. Actually, when the NDL start, initial period, Madam helped a lot, and he was the co-PI of this project, and a lot of contribution from her side. So please give a big hand to her. Thank you, Madam. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Sutradhar, and also Dr. Jadhav, Dr. Ghosh, and Dr. Pankaj. So I'm happy to be here. So today I will like to talk about the importance of multilinguality for e-learning platforms and for digital libraries. So as we all know that the world has many languages, 10,000 plus, at least 7,000 major languages, with 400 languages with 1 million plus speakers. And language diversity is very important for the evolution of the human race, because each language is a window to the people who use the language and encapsulates their culture and their realities, the way that they see the world. So cultural evolution depends on diversity, and it is very important for us that we preserve the language diversity. As technology marches on today, we should take all the languages with us and see that these languages are preserved. But the internet lacks language diversity because these languages have different amounts of resources. If you look at the internet, the majority of the resources are in English, followed by several other languages such as French, German, Chinese, and so on. However, there are a lot of languages which have a very large number of speakers, but comparatively, the resources available for those languages are limited. Now, this leads to, so we know that access to information and access to knowledge is very important for the growth of an individual and the growth of a community. So because of the stark asymmetry in the amount of resources available in these languages, the people who are speakers of these languages are disadvantaged in their growth. So it is very important that everybody gets access to the vast amount of knowledge that the human race has accumulated. Because language technology enables access to information, knowledge, and language is also a vehicle for power. It's also a political entity. Now, so language is the way by which we encode knowledge, by which we share knowledge, by which we collaboratively create knowledge, because knowledge builds upon prior knowledge. That is why libraries are useful, because it has books and materials which encapsulates the knowledge that people have developed. But unfortunately, only some languages are privileged while others are marginalized. So we have to have a way by which we can democratize knowledge. That is, everybody should have access to information in whatever language the information is created, and there should be increased ability to collaborate to create knowledge. Now today, there has been a rapid progress in language technology. But in this progress, often marginalized languages and non-standard dialects, the non-urban dialects, they're often overlooked. So we want to see how, when we want to use technology, we have to use technology responsibly, because the technology has the potential to democratize knowledge, and also technology has the potential to see that certain languages only bloom. Now, when we have e-learning platforms, those learning platforms must support people who use different languages. So because we want to reach more learners, and people believe that even if a person knows more languages, often they're more comfortable and they're more efficiently they can learn in their own language. So we also want that all learners have access to global knowledge resources. And this will, as I already discussed, this will lead to global collaboration and enhanced learning engagement. Now, in this light, if we have e-learning platforms, they should not only be tailored to different languages, but also different cultural contexts. Often when we use technology to do translation or to create multilingual content, it may not reflect the culture of the people who use the language. So the material that is there in e-learning should not only be in different languages, but preserve the culture of different communities. Also, different people, different cultures have different ways of learning and assessing, and the platform that we have must provide these different ways of accessing and assessing the content and support varied instructional methods and be culturally sensitive. Now, so only translating the resources, when resources are translated, whether assisted by machines or other forms, it is important not only to translate the content, but also make the content culturally relevant and localized. So many of the instructional materials also have non-textual content, such as different other elements. Also, images and, other types of media. They also have to be translated. They cannot be kept as it is. They have to be translated to meet the local contexts. Now, all of you know that digital libraries play a very important role in education because they provide access to knowledge. And therefore, multilingual e-learning has to be supported by multilingual digital libraries so that they can provide universal access to knowledge. So for this, it is important that the libraries, they host content from various languages. They should have a diversity of content in the native language so that they can preserve the diversity of language and culture, preserve traditional and indigenous knowledge systems of different cultures. At the same time, they should enable everybody to access the knowledge present throughout the library in whichever language it is there, so that nobody is left behind from the knowledge viewpoint. Now, for this, it is very important to have a technology infrastructure in order to scale these efforts. So the multilingual digital library must be compliant to standards so that they're universally acceptable. They should have standard metadata. They should have functionality for standard search. The metadata should be multilingual. There should be different types of advanced search, multilingual interface, localized interface, allow people to switch between languages. Today, there have been huge strides in language technology in natural language processing, fueled by lots of data and resources and machine learning. Especially today, we have large language models and generative artificial intelligence, which are being used for utilizing the knowledge which is captured in various forms and to make great strides in natural language processing. And also we are beginning to see that the growth of multilingual data sets, though the asymmetry still persists, there have been some efforts in building multilingual data sets and also multilingual large language models. And these technologies, with the help of these technologies, it is possible to boost efforts to develop technology in different languages. So there is some hope that the language divide can be bridged if these technologies are used responsibly. Now, this is some example for some open source data set which are used. So for example, this is a common crawl data set which is used by some of the large language models to train large language models. And they, for example, this MC4 data set supports 107 languages. However, because of the, because resources are not equal, so less resource languages are not represented as highly as languages such as English. However, people are looking at strategies so that when the language models are developed, the way they are sampled and used so that they can preserve the information about all the languages. I mean, though it is far from perfect, so this does help. And there are various, these are some examples of multilingual language models. I will not get into these technical details today. But if you look at the different, I'm not sure about this audience, but some of you may have heard about large language models. How are you familiar with large language models? So, large language models are trained on large amounts of text corpus, and they are trained to build models which have very large number of parameters of the order of billions, and it is said that they encapsulate a lot of knowledge. People also say that they are foundational models. And these models are used for working on different NLP tasks, whether it is information retrieval, search, or any other, machine translation, summarization, and different tasks which may be relevant to digital libraries. But different language models developed by different groups, they have different distributions of language on which they are trained. They are not equal, and therefore their performances are also different for different languages. And it has also been found that if you have a language model which is trained on a large number of languages, it does not, so the performance in individual languages can go down. And once you have these resources, there are various models or various tools that can help develop capabilities in lower resource languages. I will not get into the details, I'll mention some of the approaches. There are many multilingual and cross-lingual approaches, such as direct model transfer, where a model which is developed on a high resource languages can be transferred to a low resource language. There are translation-based models where you use machine translation, very powerful machine translation models, to either translate the results or translate the input to the other languages. There are knowledge distillation approaches via auxiliary tasks, via adapter networks, meta-learning. And under these, there are two types of approaches that you might hear. One is zero-shot approach, where it is possible to apply a technique to a completely new language with no examples, and few-shot approaches, where you have small number of examples for the target task in the given language. Now, together, these models are able to help transfer technologies and tools from one language to various other languages, and they hold promise as tools that enable development of multilingual knowledge access, and also help people to access knowledge in different domains, in translation of content and other different steps which are required in a digital library. However, while these tools are very useful, they have to be used with a word of caution, because these, even when we have multilingual language models, they are trained on a variety of languages, and all languages are not equal. And when you use these tools to develop technology in lower resource languages, those languages may lose their characteristics, and the culture and the nuances of those languages may be lost. So it is very important to be aware of this and develop tools which are sensitive to these requirements. Okay. So with this, I will conclude my talk, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you very much, madam. Very nice presentation. Yeah, yeah.
Recently, I tried this spacing for this English and Hindi and Bengali multilingual corpus. But we don't found any, don't find any training data set available on Hindi and Bengali.
Right, does it work on Hindi and Bengali?
No, because that training data set is not there.
Right, so in general, so for different, different tools have been trained on other languages also. So I'm not sure whether Spacey is trained or whether it is possible to train. It may be possible to train, but nowadays there is technology which is making this possible. So the models of Bengali, for example, few years back they were very bad. Now they have improved vastly. Of course, it has not reached the level of English, but there has been a lot of improvements because of the data set. So basically, these models depend on data sets specific to the language. And for a long time, these data sets were not developed, at least not for many tasks. So these languages did not do well. Now, what the approach today is that people rely on very large language models which have presence of these languages. Of course, the LLMs have to have presence of Hindi, Bengali, or whichever language you're working on. And then the technology permits that with smaller number of examples for the specific task. For example, you want to extract named entities or do something. Those tools for doing that, they can be developed with smaller number of examples with the help of these multilingual and cross-lingual models. So at the research level, they are getting better. Of course, there are still lots of gaps, and there are also lots of, problems that whether they are capturing the true culture of the language, whether whatever is being produced should be taken as their face value, and how much you will rely on them.
Thank you, madam. So I request Professor Durga Shankar Rao to present a memento.
Thank you, madam, for nice presentation. So now I invite Professor Bulu Maharana, professor from Sambalpur University.
I request Vaishakhi to present a flower bouquet to our invited speaker, Professor Bulu Maharana from Sambalpur University. Photo. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so before 10 minutes, I'll try to. So esteemed chair and all the invited guests, delegates and participants. As you have been listening to this symposium on different sessions, particularly on digital libraries and with specific reference to the National Digital Library of India. So when I talk about digital library, we talk about a lot of things, particularly the technology, the content on the other side. So when we talk about issues, there are a lot of issues have been extensively being discussed from various communities, including library information science, computer science and other disciplines as well. So I thought that lot of discussions on this, but what about the impact of digital libraries on environment, and particularly when you are talking about preservation, because preservation is one of such important aspects of digital library. It is not for today or tomorrow we are having the digital content, but years after that, because these are all having enduring value, and therefore at various times people have raised questions. So far as the physical materials are concerned, even if we don't take care of them, but they are still there 100 years after. But what about the content that we are carrying with us and that are available in different repositories in the libraries and elsewhere? So whether they will be available for us for the next generation, or maybe next 5-10 years from now, let alone 100 years to talk about. So that is what I actually exactly thought of. And then I'm not an expert in this area to talk about what exactly is scientifically the impact of the digital preservation going to have. But we are all, one thing is assured, that whenever there is involvement of technology, then definitely that is adding to the deterioration of the environment, that we all agree. And the libraries where we work and the digital preservation, which depends on the huge infrastructure, including the servers, including the data communication mediums and all, and handling with the data and managing the data, ingesting them, data searching for it and retrieval, all those things involve a lot of use of energy, and those energy particularly come from which you call dirty energy sources, which are conventional sources of energy, and which are in limited amount, which are going to actually finish off soon. So somebody has rightly said that we are in a environmental emergency. So what is the role? Because we have already been talking about this green aspect of libraries. From 1990s, people have been talking about the green libraries concept. And the conceptualize just having a garden in front of the library is not going to help you to create the real green and ensure the at least to mitigation, to stop the mitigate the environment. We'll have to do something more than that. So that is exactly what I have compiled some of the data and come up with this presentation. Is this working? No. So this is what I said, that this Magna Carta is one of the very important text, is a postment writing which was lost long back, and it was again found in a very deteriorated stage. Somebody has left while organizing it in the archive and left somewhere, and then after hundreds years after they found it, and even then it was in a deteriorated condition, but then the object was available. But what about the digital data? Will it be available? If we are not using for a few days or few months down the line, then we are not sure whether the data is existing. So therefore, as I said, so over a period of time, people have raised their concerns, like this article, Digital Preservation, a Time Bomb for Digital Libraries, by Margaret Headstrom, which says that many people are saying that the bomb is still ticking. Okay, so we do not know, because in that way only we think of about the environment. Our small deeds, is it going to impact the environment in a larger scale? And ultimately that has happened. The global temperature, which was in Paris Convention in 2015, it was conceived that 1.5 degree Celsius increase, that we can stop that here. Otherwise we are going to have major implications of it. But then by these years, we have increased 1.15 degree Celsius of temperature by now, and we are targeting to 1.2 degree further. So this is what happening, even if we are concerned about it or not. Next, please. So these are the things that we usually happen, and because of this, the digital content is in threat. Next slide, please. And out of all those things that we discussed is the bit rot, the data going out of our use because of the associated technologies are not available. That is one thing which is very much concern to us, and that is why we see that over a period of time the data carriers are changing. So these some of the things which are actually become the museum objects today, CD-ROMs, floppy disks, and all those things, we are no more using it. Next slide. The three major challenges which have been identified is technological obsolescence, which we know that the technological life cycle is 3 to 5 years of time. So in 5 years time the technology goes away and new technology comes in. So what about the content that we have created with the previous technology? Is it still relevant and useful? That is one thing. Expected useful time life of all those physical things, that the hard disk drives and SSDs and all those things, they have their own life time, and the unavailability of softwares in this associated computing environment. These are the three things which are actually are focal issues that we'll be discussing. Next. Digital preservation strategies, we have all been discussing and teaching to the students that our local practices like taking backups and refreshing the media, migrating the data from one technology to another, and all those things, writing a program like emulating the older things, that we have been all doing it, but there is no one size fit to all kind of a solution to it. So over a period of time people have been thinking about, and the latest thing that people are talking about is the digital vellum, which come from Binton Cerf, the expert, internet expert. He has I think he was the vice president of Google sometime, and he has given this digital vellum is kind of that parchment where we can save all the, not only the content but also the associated technologies, all the information about the operating system and the application software on which it is available, and the physical thing, all those descriptions are available. So when you replicate, and it can exactly decode, and it will be possible to actually open the data. Next. Other possible things are open formats and platform diversifications. That is again there are debate, because we are talking about the locks. A lot of copies keep the content safe, but here on the other side we are saying that if you keep multiple copies at multiple locations, you are taking multiple space, and multiple systems are used for that purpose, and therefore it is not it is against that green practice that we do. And next slide please. Yeah, so this what we are worried about is the digital content and its impact on the environment. Greenhouse gases, because of the use of the energy sources, and therefore we are adding to the greenhouse gases, gas emissions, and direct toxic endangerment to the people for the use of the hardware, audio, video, films. Basically it is found that the videos are actually creating a lot of more adding to this greenhouse thing and using more energy for that, so depleting Earth's natural resources. So these are the environmental impact of the digital content. Next slide. Yeah, so Matthew Saides, the co-founder of CTO Digital Preservation, he says that climate is certainly a threat. Okay, so it is inevitable disruption, creates inevitable disruption and content loss from climate change. So it's not the if, he says it's not an if, it's a when. So it will certainly happen, but the thing is how we can mitigate that, and we can lengthen that process that has to happen. So the servers consume a lot of energy, they have embodied the carbon footprints. That is what the digital preservation gives us to the deterioration of the environment. Next slide. Yeah, So if we see that the amount of data, global data generation is increasing year after year, and it has come something around 181 gigabytes of information, something around to the power gigabyte to the power 4 or 5 times of the data is being created. And if you preserve 1% of the data created by the humanity each year, then the carbon footprint comes to around 10 megatons of carbon dioxide equivalent, and which is equal to the footprints that's produced each year by a city of 2 million people like Chicago. It is a comparison. So, like anthropogenic that harms that we cause the population of Chicago city creating by using 1% of the data, preserving it. Next slide. So there is a climate change, and this is gradually making our earth to like difficult to live in because of the greenhouse gases and the global temperature rise, and therefore the oceans become warmer, dead sea life, no food, melting ice, and severe type of climatic disturbances, less drinkable water, and starvation, suffocation. People are migrating from one place to another with relate to the climatic changes. So this is a very horrible kind of situation that we have already seen. So in many of the places we have seen this has already happened, and it is going to happen in future as well. Okay, next slide please. So this I was telling you that the Paris Agreement 2015, they agreed upon with 1.5 degrees Celsius, where we can stop the further increase of the global temperature, but then the target was again set with 2 degrees Celsius, because we have been continuously increasing the temperature by our own deeds only. Next slide please. So now this is the reality that we are in a climate emergency situation. Next slide. So it could be harder to lobby effectively if the preservation community doesn't know the flip side of the coin, what its own carbon footprints and how the footprint can be managed and reduced. Because being in the libraries in different capacities, that we are directly into the process of archiving. So every day we are preserving the data for some time, maybe the next year, maybe next 5 years, or sometimes we are preserving the data for a long time to come. All those memory data and the other things that are preserved for a very, very long time. So therefore, we need to be concerned about, we need to be aware about what are our contribution towards the deterioration of the environment. That is basically what I had thought about. Next slide please. Yeah, so this is carbon footprints. This is all we know, that the total amount of greenhouse gases that are generated by the people's action. So United States is 16 tons is created as carbon footprints, and this is the highest in the world, and the average carbon footprint is closer to 4 tons. So in different things that we can see, that the gases, the water, the waste, recycling, internet and phone, other things that you are using. So thereby we are creating our carbon footprints, and the climate shadow is increasing day by day as we are using this so-called equipments, and particularly that the devices that we are using on day-to-day basis. Next slide please. This is an estimate the global carbon dioxide emission, wherein the power carbon dioxide created by use of power sources like electricity on the premises and the cloud storage, other things, that is highest one, that is 44.3% as compared to the other things like transport and public buildings, other things. Next slide. Yeah. So here we can see that in the global climate risk index, we already find that they give the countries, they take an estimate of the global climate index, and now we can see that the number is increasing day by day. Next slide. Yeah, ICT is a major contributor to carbon dioxide through end user devices, which again to an estimate they says that in 2011 which was 60%, now it is gone down to 47.2%. Telecommunication was in 2011 22%, it has gone down gone to 24%, and data centers 17% to 28%. But here one thing that we can see that 17% has increased, almost double the thing, because the reason is the data centers are in great number. Now today there are almost more than 8,000 data centers are working across the world, and India we have something around more than 130 data centers are in India. So they are contributing the highest to the carbon dioxide generation, and that is going to add in future as well. So this is really a matter to think over. Next slide please. Yeah, these are the data centers, 8,000 data centers across the world. Next slide. There is a comparison somebody has given that if she is taking a class on Zoom, we think that that we are consuming less and less of energy and contributing less towards the downgradation of the environment. But this is the same when it was taken that the carbon offset calculator, that if she is flying from flying to Chicago, then the personal production of carbon dioxide for 0.1 kg, and if physical classes are being taken, sorry, Zoom classes are being taken, then it is for 52 kg of carbon dioxide. So almost the same if we are doing it physical or in a online mode. Next slide please. Then again the other this is one estimate. This is again the people, 400 500 people who will be connecting to that system, the data centers that they will be using, the system, all those things are keeping apart. Only this system she has been using is giving this estimate. Okay, so I'll just so quickly go through the last part of it. I'll take 2 3 minutes more. Can you just skip over these slides and go to the last part? So now the question is, what can archives do to mitigate their environmental impact, and how can archivists and individuals decrease the climate shadows? So this is one thing, because every day on a day-to-day basis when I'm dealing with the technologies, if you are little concerned about it, if I am having a file, if I having my file with in my computer as well as in several other computers, and I am putting it on the web, so multiple times, so processing of that file also consumes energy. If we are concerned at our individual level, and being at the library, we deal with a lot of data. If you are concerned about it, definitely this will going to mitigate the process. Next. Yeah, next slide. Go to the, I think with the last part of it.
No, you can
part.
just conclude.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So so what some of the slides I had just included, that how we can change, how we can change our behavior pattern, that before we don't preserve anything and everything that we have in our library. So first thing is that we have to think of, because many of the libraries I have seen, as a fashion of doing it, because we should have some digital content, because the
Yeah.
accrediting agencies want that we should have the content. That is why they are doing it. So the analysis of the requirement that is the first thing that we need to do, and in what amount and in what type of, what should be the format and all those things we should be careful about.
Yeah.
Then only we
Thank
are
you.
going to actually
Some.
to contribute to this. Thank you so much for giving this time. Actually, I had a lot of slides. So
Thank you, Professor Bulu Maharana. It is very difficult to stop teacher, okay, when they talk, okay. And your topic is very, actually, means very good, actually. It may be more than 1 hour, so we can take that, okay.
Thank you.
So you just presented very detailed.
They are the teacher, na?
Yeah.
So they think that this is a classroom.
No. Actually, I didn't have prompt from there. So
No,
I-
actually, we have only
actually,
four speakers, that's why I given time, okay.
Really
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Sir,
Thanks.
इधर आइए ना।
So now another speaker now.
Yeah, just a minute. Khalid, so I request our chairman, please present a memento. भाई कोई कैमरामैन है? Actually, this memento is something special to the photography. So that is compensated.
Professor Mishra is there? Mishra, Professor Mishra. Professor Mishra come?
No,
Professor?
Nikita, lovely. Tarang.
I request actually Professor Bikita Lalu Tarang.
Nikita, madam. Yes, sir. Yeah.
You on time? You on time? 4 o'clock, huh? Then see 4 o'clock time.
4 o'clock.
Yeah. So I ask.
Now, can you now present your presentation? Huh?
Then we will start with Sandeep, Dr. Sandeep. Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Yeah. I invite Dr. Sandeep to present here.
But Sandeep Pathak was our colleague. He was working with us, and I'm very happy that he has come all the way from Aizar Bhopal. Thank you very much, Sandeep ji. So I request Boishaki to present a flower bouquet to welcome our colleague. Yeah. 10 minutes, sir. 10 minutes.
Thank you so much. Very good afternoon to all of you, and thank you, Team Andele and Dr. Sutradhar, for giving me this opportunity. And whenever I am in Bhopal, this IIT Kharagpur, it's like back to home. So my topic is about the academic librarianship in CFT institutions and various dimensions. So I think here librarian means the cadre of the librarian, whether they are the assistant librarian, deputy librarians or librarians. And we know they are considered as like silent workers. They have been given various responsibilities in the academic institution. So I thought of talking on those points, because we are contributing to the institution in various aspects, because we know there are many schemes by the ministries, and we need to quickly act on those. So before moving to, I'll just talk about what is academic librarianship. So as a whole, like it comes to our mind, we had opportunity to set up, like I was involved in setting up IIT Mandi Library, IISER Bhopal Library, and being a mentor, IISER Berhampur Library. So we have gone through the various aspects, like the first thing comes in the mind about library automation and modernization, library building space management. then library administration, preparing collection development policy, library manuals, various library services, then of course the digital library, having a institutional depository, like we have an IDR for embargo free publications with us, that helps us to increase the citation, then various library services, and then user education program, which is very, very important, because we know we are spending 90% of our budget on subscribing e-resources. So it is our duty to organize various, orientation programs, then author workshop, then editorial workshop, and then last one comes to the implementation of AI. This is what is happening. Like I'll give the example. Now we have just introduced one LED outside of the library, so user can see each floor how many seats, how many reading space, chairs are vacant. So this helps especially during the exam time. So there is various things are coming, like counting auto footfalls and various other way we can use the this AI tool. When it comes to the various other responsibilities, so I think like one of the IIT librarian is also playing the role of registrar. The responsibility has been given to him. Then there the institute archives, like one of the IIT librarian has also been given, like IIT Mandi I was handling this project, institute archive projects. Wardenship also you need to play, like in my case I am lucky to be warden for last 7 years of PhD hostel. So what is the advantage? Whenever we organize any author workshop, editorial workshop, we see a good number of audience. So that is also one of the advantage. Then institute annual report, like in IIT Bhubaneswar also, in my case also, we are playing an important role to compile the annual report on time. Then media cell, now we know because of ranking and other things, there is a lot of pressure to how to increase the visibility of the institute activities. If you visit any social media handler, even we will not be knowing, but outsider can easily see what are the things happening. So these are the additional responsibilities given to the librarians. Then most important, that is the leading ranking committees, like NIRF, QS ranking. Okay, so there also lot of things, like recently we did one, we know NIRF, there are 5 parameters, like if our current ranking is 60, but if you remove the parameter of perception for all the institutions, we are jumping to 36. So there are various kind of things we are we are experimenting by using AI and all, how we can improve the ranking of our institution, because somehow people says this ranking parameters, they are biased to the old institutions also, but that is always a debatable issue. Institute website we are helping. Can you back to the previous slide? Institute website, then National Consortium Coordinatorship, like Dr. Sahu is here, he was the coordinating Index Consortium when he was in IIT Delhi, that was important, and we all were technical issues a part of this. Leading the then academic institutions like INFLIPNET, RRF, Rajbhasha Vibhag. And one thing I forgot here, can you tell me which important thing I forgot here, where? No, apart from NEC, anything? Yes, sir. NDLI. So, like, you have a live example where Dr. Sutradhar is leading the project like NDLI. So, I request all of you to give a big round of applause for him. So, this is a proud moment for us, where project like NDLI, is our one of the librarian is heading. So, now I'll just take now just 1 minute to see the show the photographs or library, and then I'm done. So, this is how we plan. I think it's not. Okay. These are map, then this is we have executed here. This we done in 2016. I think it's not working. You can keep changing. Yeah.
नहीं वो इसके लिए थोड़ा पहले आपको ट्रेनिंग देना।
नहीं सर ये तो yeah, like LED keep changing now. Yes, these are various facilities of our library, because I thought of sharing, because we all are here, and this is especially for the students, those who are library science students. You can see what we can introduce in our library. Yeah, quickly please keep changing. This web OPEC, this our RFID implementation, this browsing area, e-library, again where we can display the new books. Borrowing, we have a motion session, this sensor motion there, a motion sensor in our library, which save the electricity. we are, these are the various statistics we give to the higher authority whenever they ask for it. We need to maintain and provide. Yes. QR code panel, we have a library mobile app. Yeah, please keep changing. Then this institutional repository, various outreach activities we are involved. Then these are the various workshops, seminars. Even during COVID period, when we were student at home, we used to organize a lot of online orientation. This is our campus. We have a beautiful campus of 200 acres. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sandam, for a very nice presentation. So now, Madam Bikita. Yes. Memo. You are 15 minutes, okay? Yeah, maximum. Sir, please welcome us. Thank you. Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Bikika Lalu Tariang from Nehu, and actually, yeah, I have to chair by 4 p.m. But I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Professor Sinha Mahapatra, for communicating with me all these days, and thank you, Dr. Sutradhar and all the organizing committee. I hope to make it short. My take is, I know in the midst of all the presentations on NDLI and others, this may be a little different. My take is on indigenous knowledge, and I hope if I got the theme of the symposium right, so my take is on the importance of indigenous knowledge and the importance of integrating indigenous knowledge in education, right from primary education onwards, and in keeping with that, the importance of having libraries. In keeping with integrating indigenous knowledge in education, we need libraries which will hold indigenous information, and libraries, the role of libraries in this is especially through the acquisition aspects and through access aspects. And then another point, the last point is on preparing for indigenous librarianship. So just quickly, I think I need not go into details on indigenous communities. I think we know well enough what indigenous communities are. I speak as an indigenous person myself. I've come in my indigenous attire, and I hope that we are aware about indigenous communities. We are a small, a minuscule number in the entire world, and in India we're about 8.6% of us. So this is a little bit on indigenous communities. This is something I got from the internet. I didn't get enough. It was a little indigenous knowledge. This is again now there's more talk on indigenous knowledge today, and my take is that it is important because if we are not careful, it might it is marginalized in many parts of the world. If we are not important, a lot of it will go extinct, because a lot of it is oral also. A lot of indigenous knowledge is passed on orally, so we need to be careful. So some more about indigenous knowledge. Some quotes I got from the internet. So it's important to document it in any which way we can, and documentation is going on. The communities themselves are documenting the information, which is the right way to do it actually. So the communities themselves, because they know their knowledge, it's important for them to document the information. So something on documenting here. Nakata is one of the prominent writers, one of the prominent experts on indigenous knowledge. This is what he says about indigenous knowledge, because if the indigenous people themselves don't document, there is a likelihood of misrepresentation. Other stakeholders in documenting are these, and I must say, body like NDLI, I'm learning a lot today. Body like NDLI is doing a lot. I myself read about the Onge tribe from the NDLI and NDLI website. So see, if I got the theme of the symposium right, it's important to have digital libraries for sustainable education. So these are the mandates are already there. This is the mandate for inclusion or integration of indigenous knowledge in education. In the NEP, we are also mandated to include indigenous knowledge in education, right from the lower level right up to higher education. So what I'm saying is we need to include indigenous knowledge, and indigenous knowledge is across disciplines. Indigenous knowledge is across disciplines, as Nakata says. It means indigenous knowledge means different things to different people. So you can integrate indigenous knowledge in engineering, as well as in history, as well as in languages, as well as in the social sciences, according to the need. So it is across discipline. I'll just go back. So this is the mandate in the national education policy. So in keeping with this, if we are going to teach and learn indigenous knowledge, it follows that our libraries also should hold indigenous information sources. And so this is the part, and the role of libraries is especially through the acquisition and the access to information. And this is the need for indigenous collection in libraries is important today. First of all, we need to have policies for that. Policy matters should be taken into account. If it is not in a policy, then it will be in human hands, and it can be easily manipulated. So if we have it in policies, so it's important. There will be more consistency. So these are some of the aspects for need for indigenous knowledge collection and services in libraries. Services, especially through services like reference service and so on. And one quote from Sarkar, that the policies need to be framed in consultation with other stakeholders, like anthropologists, ethnographers, botanists, zoologists, and so on. So basically, many disciplines are involved. It's not one-dimensional. And We had written a paper on this. One of my research scholars is doing her PhD on integration of indigenous knowledge. She's here with us. Integration of indigenous knowledge in LIS education. So that was what we concluded. And then, of course, we can't just be casual about it. Integrating information, indigenous knowledge, as well as having, having indigenous knowledge in the libraries. We have to understand indigenous concerns. We have to be sensitive to the needs of the indigenous people, and one aspect is the danger of misrepresentation. If we don't do it, if we don't evaluate the information that we acquire for the library, if we don't evaluate it well, there is danger of misrepresentation, and it has happened. So these are some of the aspects. These are some of the sources.
1 minute, yeah. Summarize please, yeah.
Pardon?
Summarize please, 1 minute, yeah.
Yes, yes. This is the role of libraries, role of technology, and training for, and it also follows that we need well-trained people for libraries, and the modalities will include the pedagogy, the aspects of learning and teaching. It would be good to involve indigenous people themselves, well-trained indigenous people themselves in the teaching, and then the learning aspects would include practical aspects as well. A lot of it should be practical. So it's important to have well-trained library professionals. So this is my take on the topic. I hope that it is found satisfactory. These are my references. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. So now there is online talk is there. So from one moment, Vijayanand, Dr. Vijayanand, can you just give me? Can you connect? Online talk is there. This is Dr. Ruwan Gamge from Sri Lanka. Both of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear, yes.
Okay.
Do you see my presentation slide?
Can you just?
Can you see the presentation
One moment,
slide?
please. Zoom, no?
Shall I
No,
start
both
the
are
presentation?
Why he just added that lady?
I can't hear now.
Hello, can you wait 1 minute, please? Okay, just there are technical problem. Please wait.
Okay, sure.
Two online there actually. Two online. Why you added that lady? Hello, Rohan. Can you hear us?
Yeah, now I can hear, yes.
Yeah, only 10 minutes, please, okay? Just within 10 minutes, you can summarize yourself, yeah.
Okay,
Present and summarize,
okay.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Right.
He's
So
from
I
Sri
will
Lanka.
share my presentation.
Sri Lanka. Yeah.
Right. So can you see the presentation now?
Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah, okay. Right, thank you. So the session chair,
Yeah.
organizing committee, and the invited presenters and also all the participants. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share a few words with you, to share a message, of course. Currently, I'm in the Maldives on my sabbatical leave. During the sabbatical leave, I'm teaching at the Maldives National University. So, because of this, for the purpose of this presentation, I just did a brief survey with my students. This is how they are using ChatGPT for doing their assignments. So as you can see, more than 80% of them use at least sometimes use ChatGPT for completing their assignments, at least sometimes. So, but of course, that could be a significant part of their task, the task assigned to them, and but they think that ChatGPT, they are not using ChatGPT to gain unfair advantage. So they are using the content generated by ChatGPT and customized for their work, for the task at hand. So ChatGPT has passed several stages. Of course, from starting 1 year ago, it started as it was popular among the masses from November 22. So it has now become, especially the ChatGPT 4 plus version and the enterprise version, they have a lot of features, facilities with that. So I'm focusing your attention to the revised Bloom's taxonomy, because we are discussing about education also in addition to digital libraries. So in Bloom's taxonomy, in 1950s, he proposed that there are stages of different levels of achievement in education. So starting with low order thinking skills and going into higher order thinking skills. So our objective in education should be to bring students or take students from the lower order thinking skills to higher order thinking skills. So my presentation today is about how to give a message that according to my observations, there is a possibility that we can use the generative AI applications like ChatGPT, BART, and other applications for education. So to do this particular task of advancing the student skills from lower order thinking lots to HOTS. So I did another experiment. This is I took one examination question, a biology examination question from the web, and there was a teacher written answer also. I created a rubric and I asked ChatGPT to, this is the human answer for that particular question available on the source given below. And I asked ChatGPT to create an answer for this. And this experiment has been done multiple of times and maybe thousands of times. But I also wanted to find out what the result would be. So this is the answer we obtained from ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT itself to use the rubric to evaluate the answer and assign a score. So the machine generated answer, it assigned 70 to 80%, and human generated answer it assigned 85 to 95%. So the human generated answer was much detailed, much detail. So, but my objective here is not to show the importance of or the wonders of our brain, but to use this. Now, this most important thing in this exercise is the prompt used, because in ChatGPT we are giving prompts, and in technical terms it is called prompt engineering, and this, according to the prompt, as the ChatGPT will give us an answer, and we can continue this conversation. So this is a conversation, not just one-time input and one-time output. It is it continues the dialogue with the person who is asking questions or giving prompts. So this similarly, I continued for 3 questions given in the same website, and it gave a similar result. For all three answers, the human generated or human created answer was given the highest score. Now again, coming back to the student survey, this our students tell that the ChatGPT, because actually I would mention that we started our first semester for this year in February 2023, and at that time on the first class, in the first class itself, I introduced ChatGPT for them and also showed them to get how to get an answer for a tutorial question, because I knew at some point they will be using it. At that time it was not very popular, and only one or two students they knew about ChatGPT at that time. But since then, our students were using it for some kind of help to get some assistance from ChatGPT. So they have mentioned in this survey that their skills have been improved because they are using ChatGPT. And what are the skills that they have developed? Writing and communication skills, critical thinking skills, and time management. Of course, I have seen myself, this observation is true because not only the survey result, but the observation has become true. So what I observe here is, now are we leading to a conversational type of digital library which is giving not documents but customized answers? And this will is this leading to better learning, or does prompt engineering lead to better learning because they have to critically think to give the prompt? So this assumption I have come across. Is there a new breed of digital libraries? Actually, this is already there. I have used this using the GPT creation facility available in ChatGPT. This is for getting knowledge or getting information on Sri Lanka Library Association. When I ask something in similar to ChatGPT, I can type something in the box given below. So when I type, this was created by me as just a test. I uploaded the annual reports of the Sri Lanka Library Association and also directed to the Sri Lanka Library Association website. And this is now giving output not as documents but relevant information. According to the prompt given, it gives answers, not documents for me to read. Yeah, so now again, for the last time, final slide on the survey result. When I ask what type of skills they have, or whether their skills are sufficient to
Dr. Rohan, only 2 minutes, please. Okay, 2 minutes only.
Okay, sure, I will. So whether this time is enough for them, they said, yeah, our skills are not sufficiently, we are not skillful in using giving the proper ChatGPT prompt. So the purpose why they are using is to gather information as we do in Google. So, but less in problem solving and critical projects. So that is the second assumption. We have to incorporate the use of generative artificial intelligence into our curriculum. So as in summary, this is the summary that I have come across with these results. Of course, these had to be this study has to be continued with a larger set of data, but that is what I propose to the library community as well as to the teacher community. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rohan, for nice presentation. Thank you very much. Yeah. Second online.
You're welcome.
There is another online one talk is there. Shakil Ahmad, librarian,
Yes, yes, sir.
Institute of Research and Medical from Saudi Arabia. Hello, Dr. Shakil.
Yes, sir, I am here.
Dr. Shakil, can you just present and summarize within 10 minutes?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let's start. Good afternoon to everybody, organizer and chair and all the audience. And my topic is innovation, technology and innovation in digital libraries. So what are digital libraries? Digital libraries are collections of digital objects such as books, articles, images and videos that are organized and accessible online. A convenient way for people to access and use information from anywhere in the world. Remote access. Technology and innovations are vital in developing and opening digital libraries. Emerging tech and innovation can be used to improve the way digital libraries store, organize and deliver information to users. Why tech is required and important for the digital library? Efficient access management and preservation of digital content, implementing advanced search algorithms, digital rights management systems and user-friendly interfaces. Integrate new technologies like artificial intelligence and virtual reality to enhance user experience. Emerging tech allows digital library to continually expand its collections and services to meet changing societal needs. Ensure the long-term preservation and accessibility of digital content by employing robust data storage and backup system. Make digital libraries viable, efficient and relevant in today's rapidly evolving digital landscape. So here you can see technology as a change agent. First picture you can see big shelf, okay, and second picture you can see space. So now we are moving from the big shelf to space. Now our users need more space and digital content. So when we will use the digital content, we can save our space for our users. So here you can see from the 1980s to 2000s evolving digital library or infrastructure where the integrated library systems like cataloging, serial control, interlibrary loan acquisitions, then public access computers, OPEC and database in the 90s where it started in the developed countries. Then the rise of the internet were in the 1994 to 2010, then allowed catalogs to be searched remotely, access to databases, federated searches that time were started with the control vocabularies. Then discovery tools came, email and chat references were in this period started. And needs of pattern in the last decade, 2010 to 2020s. Computer access, mobile access, Wi-Fi and mobile devices were introduced. Information and technology, digital media literacy were introduced. And just-in-time service like self-checkout, check-in and check-out services were started. Mobile device vending, chat references were started. Analytics to allow the data informed decision making like statistical data of the reference services or reference static, usage statics were started. Then you can see the key technologies trends after 2020 to the present. Big data, artificial intelligence, now everybody is talking about the artificial intelligence. Just one professor delivered the lecture on the same content. Cloud computing, blockchain, Internet of Things, 3D printer, digital IDs, and extended reality, XR. So key technology trends, first one is big data. Digital libraries are increasingly collecting and storing large data sets of information such as user behavior data, social media data, and sensor data. This data can be used to improve the digital library's user experience and develop new and innovative services. We can analyze the user's behavior, all these things, because nowadays library service quality is based on the user's feedback, not on the based on your collections. Artificial intelligence, AI, is being used to develop new ways to organize and search digital libraries. For example, AI can automatically tag and classify digital objects and develop personalized user recommendations. Key technology trends, another cloud computing. Cloud computing has transformed library operations by enabling efficient storage management and remote access, extensive collections, allowing patrons to access information from any location at any time, remote access. Especially in India during the COVID-19, it was started. Some of the institutions were before also using, but it was more popular during the COVID-19. But here in Saudi Arabia, in my institution, I am starting from 2011. The technology facilitates the digitization of library collections, improving the case with which researchers and scholars can locate information. Additionally, cloud computing fosters collaboration between libraries and other institutions, resource sharing and operational streamlining, resulting in enhanced efficiency, resource accessibility, and institutional cooperation. Then blockchain technologies came. Blockchain technologies can enhance the library systems by bolstering security and transparency, particularly in managing and sharing resources within digital libraries. Each transaction within a blockchain-enabled library is recorded on a decentralized public ledger, allowing for precise tracking of resource ownership and usage. The implementation of smart contracts can streamline library operations, such as automating checkouts and renewals, minimizing manual processing, and improving the
Dr. Shakil,
overall efficiency and access to information.
Dr. Shakil,
Yes,
only
sir.
2 minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, please summarize.
Then Internet of Things came. Then you can see the 3D printing introduced. Digital IDs, this is very important. And then extended reality. Innovations in DLs, for some examples is here. National Digital Library of India is the biggest and relevant example for the digital library. Another example is from Library of Congress, Auto System. Then British Library Cloud Computing Initiative is also another example. Then you can see the University of California Berkeley blockchain copywriting management system is also another example. In conclusion, technology and innovation are transforming the way digital libraries operate and the services they offer. Digital libraries are becoming increasingly sophisticated and user friendly, and they are playing an increasingly important role in our lives. DLs at IAU. In our library, just 4 features I want to show you. Our IAU resource portal, LibGuide, Ask a Librarian Service, and Library Map. So this is our library resource portal. You can see all the menu, you can see all the information we have. We have discovery tool also, summon, and then we have the LibGuide also. LibGuide by all guide, subject by type, librarian. Also we have license librarian program for. Then we have the Ask a Librarian service. You can see always our user is asking online and we are replying to them. And then in library map, we have the interactive library map, library floor map, opening hours, locator, and all we have connected with the QR code. So just the user will come and they will access the QR code. They will scan the QR code and they can find all this. And for library format, we have the interactive, we have the video, all these things. Just they will put their hand. I have no time, otherwise I can show you. I have a recording.
Yeah, thank you,
Library
Shakil. Thank
orientation
you,
and
thank you.
virtual tour, help for ask for help, all these things. Okay.
Thank you,
So,
Shakil. Yeah, thank you.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speed. Just we 5 minute delay because there was confusion. Early it was only they told there are four presenter, but later on 2 join online. Yeah. In this session, there were 4 speakers. Professor Sudeshana Sarkar, she presented online universal multilingual e-learnings. See, when she presented, I really surprised that actually means Spanish, they are very less in population, but even though that language is second most spoken language. Yeah, Chinese already due to population, that is the first one, okay, but I also realized that India, Bengali and Hindi are the first 5. Yeah, and she also actually various means she given means that all standards technology should be properly used, okay. Export import, that means like Partha asked one question for her, okay. So that also she replied. And another actually means she neural machine translation actually means she searched that actually now ChatGPT and all technology came. But even though deep learning is there, means all the AI working on machine learning. So that actually she means searched that actually neural machine translation required. So all these multilingual actually all these problem can be solved, and maybe in future that will be very easy to means translate, or all this Indian heritage or means culture that can be easily accessible. And another actually means he told that actually almost 4,000 means 400 languages actually that means spoken by 1 million people, and 7,000 languages around the world. So she presented very nicely. Another paper was actually from Professor Bulu Maharana. Digital preservation, this is the one topic actually means that we can talk means more than 2 or 3 hours, okay. And he covered so many things, technology means problem, actually means climate change, carbon footprints. So many things he covered and he presented very good data also. Yeah. So after that there is a poster presentation.
Yeah,
Here?
either.
Here, huh? Oh.
Do presentation.
Oh, one.
Please allow us.
We'll finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another actually, third one from Dr. Sandeep Phatak actually, he just means presented that actually what is the role of the academic librarianship. Means even though we're doing all library work, besides that also so many things we have to do that actually. And many librarians, they are doing very great job in India. And Bibika Bibika actually Tarang, she's spoken on sustainable development education and indigenous knowledge. So indigenous knowledge actually how can preserve that, maybe actually how can preserve that, and what is the role of librarian and how can means provide services, what is the role of library, she spoken on that. And Ruan Gamge from Maldives actually, he talk on ChatGPT, what the questionnaire actually frame.
I think
for students.
online you should leave it,
Yeah.
because nobody, they are not there, so.
Okay, so then I just request presenter, poster presenter, who is there? Dr. Stan.
Yeah, so there will be 2 poster presentation. The candidates are here. Please come.
So I request co-chair to summarize something.
Yeah. So after that you summarize and close up. Just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, please allow us. Huh? Hello, Chakraborty. What's your name? Kaustubh Chakraborty. Please. Huh? 5 minutes. PPT আছে তোমার? 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, and fellow participant. Myself, Kaustubh Chakraborty, librarian of Sister Nivedita Government General Degree College for Girls, is going to present my views on the topic entitled Status of LIS OER in various online learning repositories. And my co-author is Ujjwal Patto, who is an assistant librarian at Scottish Church College. So before starting my deliberation, I want to say something, that is, there are various online learning courseware in the world, like we have Coursera, we have edX, we have FutureLearn, we have Khan Academy. So in India we have a SWAYAM. So if we want to map that OER literature in terms of LIS or in terms of any other contents, we have to create a very solid description, and in that way the librarian should play a important role in this regard. Now next slide. So I am directly going to the objectives of my presentation, because time is running very shortly. Please go into objectives. To identify the existing online repositories recommended by the Ministry of Education. Next one is that to analyze the generic and technical features of open educational resources in terms of language, content, organization. Next slide. Next. And I have taken the only the Indian online repositories, that is the eGyankosh, Vidyamitra, EPG Pathshala, SWAYAM. Next. So this is the data. I am directly going to the data interpretation part and analysis part. That is the, if you see the table 1, this is the year-wise distribution of OER in LIS discipline in eGyankosh, and you can see from the year 2010 to 2019 there were 1,115 resources. Next slide. This is the module-wise discipline in EPG Pathshala, and you can see from my left hand side there are total number of modules, and you can see the most number of modules from information sources and system, and then there is coordinator-wise course distribution, then duration-wise course of SWAYAM, then table 5 shows the topic-wise number of OER, project-wise distribution of LIS related OER in Vidyamitra. Next, OER in LIS discipline is Vidyamitra, then organization-wise number of OERs in Vidyamitra. Then if we talk about the SWAYAM Prabha, this is the distribution, learner-wise distribution. Next, this is the channel-wise distribution of OERs in LIS discipline in SWAYAM Prabha, then topic-wise LIS distribution, and you can find the previous slide, please. Previous slide, table 11. Yeah, you can see that organization of knowledge library classification, library information, say they have most number of modules. Next, this is the language-wise distribution of OERs in LIS discipline SWAYAM Prabha, and if we summarize the whole platforms like EPG Pathshala. Next, please, previous slide. Just 1 minute I will take. Next, previous. Yeah, EPG Pathshala, spoken tutorials, SWAYAM and SWAYAM Prabha. You can see the most number of OERs in the EPG Pathshala, that is 395. Next. So this study found that there are so much OERs in LIS, and we have to map those OERs in LIS discipline as well as in the other discipline. So I would conclude by saying that the open educational resources are very important, and we as a library information science professional have to play a key role to support the OER movement. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaustubh. Thank you. I think this is poster PPT, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. One more.
Yeah.
What's your name? Ramani, please come. Hey, Ramani Shahu is working as SLI in Central Library. 5 minutes.
Here we are. Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. So our topic is implementation of AR/VR services in a library, presented by Dr. Samrat Raga, Bisito sir, and myself and one of our colleague Shovannath. Next. So we are providing actually services, AR/VR services to the users. What is augmented reality? Augmented reality refers to the real-time integration of the digital information. Yeah, sir. And this explore the subjects in a dynamic and engaging way. Potential application. These are the topics we have covered in this VR devices like physics and space and time, geography, like Jurassic World, and this is the WebVR information delivery system. These are the augmented reality applications we have developed in our library. This is actually the QR code based system. Next. If you have clicked there, just got the information about our law database and our library website information. So this is the VR devices you are using, and in these devices we have installed application like the Jurassic World and the Body VR and the Space Times. To summarize, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ranjan. Yeah. Please. Yeah. Yeah.
Nivedita, come. Navnita, na, tomar naam ki? Dipanjali, come. Chalo, ho gaya. Let her present.
Anything in there, Doctor?
5 minutes.
Sudha. She is going to present? She is going to present? Oh.
5 minutes.
Good afternoon, my respected dignitaries on and off the dais. Sorry, I'm not very well versed. I was thinking it will happen later. So, this is my poster. It's very short, and I know you cannot see from the very far, so just cooperate with me. So, my topic was digital divide, and I was trying to understand and explore the concept all around the India based on internet uses. So, we all know what digital divide is. It's basically the gap that exists between those who have the technology and those who do not. So, in the middle, I have shown the overview. What are the causes, what are the types of digital divide? First is gender. And if you can see in the graph in the left side, that we can see that male population have more access to internet than the female population. And it is found all over the India, not only particular area. And secondly, if you can see, even I cannot see what is written there. So my conclusion was basically I was trying to find out the initiative that has been taken all over the India in order to, in order to bridge the digital divide. First I had shown the initiative taken by the government of India. Over the last decades they have taken many initiatives. I have shown the first one is I think Gamdut project. It was established in 2012, I guess, in Karnataka. And it basically what they did is they established centers all around the rural areas, and then it provided current awareness services and the information that the rural people require. Next, obviously, I have NDLI. The mission was, what was the mission? One library all of India, and they wanted to provide information from KG to PG, and it proved to be a really good source for during the COVID-19 period. And then I have e-Pathshala. I have used this for over my studying period from BSc to MSc, everything, and it was very helpful for me, and I hope for other students as well. So next I have by the private organizations. Since there has been new initiatives by TCS, by Tech Mahindra, out of everything. So to conclude that basically digital divide is there are many reasons behind it. There might be almost.
very nice that you have displayed.
Yeah, thank you, Deepanjali. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Do I need to conclude?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My post presentation, my topic is research on engineering librarians on digital preservation limitations. The complexity and expense of archiving digital content could be roadblock to growth of digital libraries. Thoughtful consideration?
No reading.
Yes, sir.
Just tell what you have done and what is this object.
Yeah, introduction. Organizations, in spite of competition and other outside factors, must factor a library ability to respond to changes in the field of education is invariably related to level of funding. Libraries in engineering colleges are one of kind since they cater specifically to the demands, objectives of the study. To identify any constraints in preserving digital materials in agricultural libraries. For the purpose of to learn more librarians' perspective on digital preservation, we conducted a simple random survey method. The institutions, colleges 2023, within 100 kilometers of Tirupati, were to a standardized questionnaire radiation in engineering. There are 12 engineering colleges, 3 governments. Yes.
So you display it in the central library, that stall. These 2 posters we have now. So later display our Gargi will go and that is better.
Yes, sir.
Because reading is not possible because time is very short.
Yes, yes, sir.
Display your product, poster.
Okay.
Our judge will go and we will also see.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That will be
Thank
good.
you.
Okay, Jadavji, please come and.
Yeah, thank you.
Please, all of you request come on the dais. Sorry, time is the matter because another session is there. Presentation?
No, not for okay.
No, memento.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sudhar. Then I just request Dr. Ghosh to summarize this presentation. Yeah.
As you know that there is a paucity of time and all the poster presenters, they really did a very good job, but due to paucity of time, we couldn't allow them to talk about in detail. So I don't want to take much time in briefing. You all have, witnessed that, what they have done. It's a very nice job they have done. Thank you all the poster presenters. So one observation only in case of poster presentation, it should be one slide like Deepanjali, what she did. It could be displayed in that way only. Anyway, otherwise it's wonderful job done. A big hands for all the poster presenters. And
Thank you, Dr.
Yeah,
Ghosh. So I request please. I request Vijayanand ji, please come. And I request Pathak ji, please come. You got it, no? Memento? You got the memento, okay. So I request Pankaj ji, you come please. I call Dr. Rajesh Kumar. Manav Rachana University, New Delhi. So I request Narayan Babu, Dr. Narayan Ghosh, please come. You know him? Yeah. Thank you. I request Gunjan, Dr. Gunjan, please come. And Dr. Partho Charati Mukhopadhyay, please come. Give a memento to our big man, Dr. Jadhav. He has helped me a lot for doing this thing remotely. So give a big hand to Dr. Jadhav. Thank you, sir. So thank you very much, all the session chair, co-chairman, and then rapporteur. Thank you. So now we have a tea break for 5-10 minutes, and after that there will be a parallel session. And